Hello everyone and welcome back. Whoa. So today we're going to talk about what is, in my opinion, the best Cubase version ever. Cubase 11. Boom! So today 11 was just released and there are so many things in this new release. And I have to be honest with you guys, this is a really hard video for me to make because there are so many things in this release that if I wanted to cover each and every one of them, this video would be like 1 or 2 hours at least. So I promise you I'm going to make future videos covering all these things that we're going to talk about today in more detail. So in the comments down below, let me know what you would like me to do because I'm going to take your feedback and I'm going to create those videos. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification icon so when I release them, you will know. Okay, so let's get started because there are so many things to talk about. I'm gonna wear my headphones here because the first thing I want to show you is the new sampler track. Now, this was a revelation for me. If you've watched the videos that I've done in the past about the sampler track, I'm gonna link it right here. You know that I'm a big fan, okay? This is one of my favorite tools in Cubase and I love it. It's so creative, you can do so many things with it, but now it's even better. While I'm at it, I might as well show you the brand new libraries that we have in Cubase now. We have the Bloom library, really nice cool vocals there.
Day after day after.
Really cool. I mean, these are going to be also incredible for vocal chops, and this is the first thing that the sampler track can do really easily now. So maybe I want to check out this Hard Knocks library. So let's create a sampler track, okay? Right-click, create a sampler track. One thing that I can do straight away is change the quality of the playback. So we can go up to extreme. That's really good for high frequencies. And we also have the vintage mode, which I love it. Check it out. So cool. It sounds so gritty. It gives you a completely different character to whatever you throw in there. Now, the next thing that we can do is we can slice that loop straight inside the sampler track. Okay, let's do this. Slice. And I can immediately play this on my keyboard. And you know, they even did this cool thing where, you know, sometimes when you slice something, you get this little click. Do you hear that? Okay, so if you go like this and you create a fade out, it's gone. So thoughtful. Thank you. This would be something that I would have to do manually. It's all done. There. So we have transients, we have different modes, we have transient modes, we have grid that takes into account the grid, we have transient and grid. It's a combination manual mode where you can start adding hit points yourself and you can create the slices yourself. Again, like I said, I'm going to do an in-depth video. I want to show you as much as possible today, so let's go and bring in a vocal.
Are we here alone again?
That's cool. So I've done a video in the past, I'm going to link it right here. And on this video, I was talking about how to create vocal chops, really cool vocal effects using the sampler track. And if you remember that, I was automating the sample beginning point. That was very cool. But now check what you can do. Let's grab my endpoint here. And I'm going to trim the sample. We can also trim now. Now I can go ahead and slice. And instead of transient, maybe I want to do grid. And maybe I want to have like 16th notes. And now I can play these chops on my keyboard. All these things, super cool. I can even have a panning. Maybe let's try some LFO for the pan. And speaking of LFOs, we have LFOs in the sampler track now. Let me show you. If you go here to mod, then you will be able to see, you know, the envelopes and all the things that we had before, but we also have LFOs now. Which means that I can say, okay, I want to add a pitch LFO, I have 2 separate LFOs, and I can assign them to whatever I want. In this case, as you saw, I assigned this LFO, LFO2 actually, to my panning, okay? And if I go here, you will see that I can even change the type of the LFO. Maybe I want to have a pulse. And there are so many cool things that you can do with it. I mean, this, you know, deserves a video on its own. But before I finish with the sampler track, because there are so many cool things that you can do with it, is I want to show you how you can create amazing 808 bass lines. You guys have been asking for this for a long time, and I promise I'm gonna do a video. Now I have a better excuse to do this video because the sampler track now can really create amazing 808 bass lines, you know, with legato, with everything. So very quickly I'm gonna do this. Let's go to Hard Knocks. There are quite a few nice basses here. Let's go for 808 and yeah, this sounds nice. Okay, so let's create sampler track. And there we go. Now I have, of course, all the notes, but check what I can do. I can go here and just trim that portion, okay? Maybe I want to have the beginning trimmed as well. Let's go like this. Easy, easy. That's so cool. You know, that makes me super happy, guys. But now I can make it mono, and now, check this out. I can activate legato mode. Let's create a loop. And there we go. And now I can even have glide. Check that out. Yeah, you can do that using any sample. Thank you very much. I mean, this would be useful for, you know, 808 bass lines, for synths, for vocals. You can take any vocal and do the same thing. Let me know if you want me to do a video about this, right? Subscribe. Moving on, let's go. I mean, there are so many things in the sampler track, but let's move on to something else now. And this is a brand new plugin that we have, or maybe I should say a collection of plugins, which is called Supervision. And guys, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that when it comes to metering, I'm really picky. I love good quality meters. That's why I use the control room, and I also have invested in hardware meters, you know, the Clarity M. Metering is really important, and I can tell you with confidence now that with Cubase 11, I don't need to worry about metering anymore. It's the most comprehensive metering plugin suite that I've ever seen in my life. So let me show you, and I'm not exaggerating. Let me know what you think. Let's play something through the Supervision. And as you can see, I have a level meter here. Completely resizable, by the way. Okay, then we have loudness metering with LUFS integrated loudness meters, okay? Spectrum curve. You know, you hover your mouse, you can see the frequency. I'm in love. Spectrum bars. Spectrum intensity. Check how cool that is. Spectrogram. You know, if you wanted to get something like this, you'd have to go to Wavelab. And now it's here. We have this kind of metering. Check it out. And I can change the color as well. Amazing. Okay, so what else? We have, I mean, I won't go through all of them. Maybe I will do like a dedicated video, but chromogram. You can even see the notes. See? See? You can see the notes. What else? Phase scopes. Beautiful. Panorama. Multi-panorama. correlation, multi-correlation. So we know that we're in phase in the low end. Again, like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna make a video. Oscilloscope. Yeah, this deserves a video, I think. Again, this is a real-time waveform display, so this allows you to see what happens to your waveform after you've added your processing. Fantastic. My favorite thing about Supervision is that you can resize it however you want, and you can start adding modules and you can customize it completely the way you want to. So maybe I want to have this as my chromogram, or maybe I want to have this as my oscilloscope and all these things, and maybe I want to add something underneath that. You can do all these things and you can, look at that. This is so cool. You know, it already knows what I want it to do. So really, really powerful, and you can save different settings and different layouts, and you can recall them anytime you want. Now, I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to still use this loop, actually, and I'm going to use the next plugin that I'm really excited about, and that's Squasher. Now, this plugin, again, it's so deep that I'm not going to be able to show you everything today, but it's really, really powerful. It's an instant classic in my opinion, okay? So let me show you. It's basically a downward compressor and an upward compressor as well. So the really loud parts of your mix or whatever you run through it are going to be compressed, and the quiet ones are going to be brought up. So this gives you a very specific sound that's really popular, especially with electronic music. So let's play this track through the Squasher, okay? And it's so easy to use. You can use it like this, the way it comes up, but you can also reveal some more in-depth parameters that make it actually really, really powerful for mastering, because you have attack, release, you have drive, you have gates. Check it out. See how much I'm shaping this fairly simple, straightforward sound? See how much... it's kind of unreal, okay? Check it out. Beautiful. Attitude. Yes, in your face. And if that wasn't enough, sidechain. We have internal sidechain, external sidechain, 3 sidechains. Hold that thought, because there's more coming up about this later on. Let's move on to the next plugin, which is the Imager. It's very straightforward, so there's not like too many complicated things to talk about, but basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to make your tracks wider. It allows you to take full control of your stereo width, so maybe you might want to make your mono a little bit narrower so that you have like a nice compact low end, and maybe you want to widen the high frequencies. Imager allows you to do that. So I don't know which magic fairy went to Hamburg and, you know, they used their magic wand, but we have another really powerful plugin in this release, and that's Frequency 2. And this is something I was waiting for a while. You know, I use dynamic EQs all the time, and if you've been watching my videos, you know that I rely on them for quite a few tasks. Let me show you. This is exactly the same like Frequency 2, so you won't be completely, oh, what do I do there? The big difference though is that now you have a dynamic mode that you can activate. So let's say I have this band here, okay, and I turn it into dynamic. So let's try and enhance this attack for this sound. I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to go very fast attack, and maybe like a medium release, something like this, and a high ratio. Let's try it. Hear the difference? So let me show you what else you can do with the Frequency 2. I talked a little bit before about the sidechain inputs, okay, with Squasher. Now, Frequency 2 is a really good example to show you that we have multiple sidechain inputs now. As you can see, we can have multiple ones, okay? All these things, there are so many different use cases for all these things that it's unreal, you know? If you have, let's say, a bass, you can sidechain it to 2 kick drums now, or 3 kick drums, you know? Or you can sidechain some synths to a vocal and a guitar, you know, with one plugin, with no complex routing. That's pretty good. And to be honest with you, I have no idea of any other DAW that can do this. The next thing that I want to show you is the new way that you can export and do audio mixdowns in Cubase 11. And for me, that was like literally, this is one of the things that I hate doing. You know, when you have to do like stems, you have to create like multi-tracks and all these things, and you're just scared that something will go wrong, and you're like, is the naming right? Is the format okay? Did I forget to bounce something? You know, sometimes you might want to export multiple formats. You might want to export dry versions. You might want to export versions with effects. You might want to export versions with Sense and the group effects and maybe the master effects. Well, now you can do all of these things with one click. Like, seriously, guys, this brings me so much joy because, you know, these are things that I do pretty much every day. And if I had all this time in my life, free time is something that you can never get back. Everything else you can get back, but free time, not really. Okay, time is very precious, okay? So let me show you how this thing works. Now what you can do is you can say, okay, I want to export multiple tracks. Which ones? Maybe I just want to export my guitars here. And look at this magical button here, sync selection to track selection. Boom! Now, whatever I have selected in my project window, see? This gets selected for export. How cool is that? You know, sometimes I have to do exports with orchestral mockups and I want to export just the brass. If I could do this in the past so easily that I could go like, done, export, so many years wasted. Anyway, but it's here and, you know, this is incredible for me. I hope you appreciate it, guys. It's not a fancy thing, but if you do this all the time, I'm pretty sure that you will appreciate it. The next thing that you can do is, of course, you can say, okay, I want to export just my group tracks, I want to export my channels, my instrument tracks, and all these things. So, let's say you want to do this, okay? And you want them WAV file 44.1. Now you can add this to the queue as a job. Boom. Okay, now we have a job there. But let's say I also want to export everything dry. You know, let's say I recorded a very important singer and I've added compression and effects to his or her vocals. And you know what? I want to keep the dry versions just in case, you know, the multi-tracks. Now I can say dry. So then Cubase will export everything dry, without the effects, without the plugins, without the EQs, without anything. It's going to be completely dry the way you recorded it. Let's add that to the queue. There we go. Boom. Okay? Then let's say that, okay, somebody asked me for some vocal stems. Okay, cool. I'm going to just select my vocals, for example. My vocals might be going to a bus. Okay, and I have some compression there. And maybe they're also going to a send effect. Before, if you bounce these, the send effect wouldn't be bounced unless you soloed the track and then you bounce the master out. And then you would also, you know, bounce the master effects as well. Not anymore. Now you can say, you know what? I want to bounce the groups and send effects as well. So that means that if I have a vocal and it goes to a bus and it has some nice sweet delays and reverbs, I only need to do this. And now I can add this to a queue, for example. So as you can see, we also have a new project mixdown folder. I think this is a very good touch. It's a really small detail, but I really appreciate it because I was always exporting things to my audio folder and then it was a little bit hard to find the exported files. I really like that this is there now. And you can also save format presets which is really cool. You can say, okay, I want to have an MP3 preview preset, maybe a 48 kilohertz preset for film, maybe I want to have a 96 kilohertz preset. All these things you can do and save them like this, save preset. You know, you name it like you want to, good to go. So once you do this, all you need to do is click Start Q Export, and Cubase does everything for you. Cool, right? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is improvements when it comes to Midi. I mean, Cubase is the best DAW when it comes to Midi. You know, you might disagree, but it's true. But there are some really, really cool improvements when it comes to Midi. And let me show you what these are. Now we have something called the Scale Assistant, okay? Recently, I released a video about the chord tracks and how to create chord progressions. If you don't know any music theory or music harmony, I'm gonna link it right here. But this is making things even better, because now you can play, you can solo, you can do whatever you want, you can play chords, and they will always sound great. The way you do this is you go into your key editor, you go to Scale Assistant, and here you can say, okay, I want to have a song on D minor, okay? Let's try something harder. Let's try F minor, okay? More flats. And as you can see, we have quite a few options here. We can say, I want to show just the scale notes, okay? As you can see, the light gray ones are the ones that are permitted for this scale, and the black ones are the ones that are not permitted. But then if I also activate snap pitch editing, I can double click, and you will see that it won't let me place this note anywhere, but only on the correct pitches. Check it out. Okay, F minor. What do you know? Now, the other thing that you can do is you can activate Snap Live Input. And this way, whatever you play on your MIDI keyboard, I'm gonna play something completely random. I'm playing completely random notes here, right? So completely... I'm gonna play an A minor. And then an F major. See, it corrects everything to the closest note. Let's deactivate this and play some really, really random notes, okay? Or it could be contemporary music. Just kidding. I love contemporary music, but let's listen to this. Okay, and now what I can do is I can select all these notes, and now I can say quantize pitches. And let's see what we've played there. How cool is that? I know for a fact that I have many friends out there that are guitarists, that are violin players. They don't know how to play the piano. Some people are super talented. They want to create music, but they don't know music theory. They don't know music harmony. They don't know how to play the keyboard. This is a lifesaver, and you know, it's not a shortcut. I would always suggest that you learn how to play, learn a little bit about theory, but it will help you get there. It will help you create songs. It will help you create music. It will help you have fun at the end of the day. That's what music is all about, right? So there you go. Now you can be guaranteed that you're not going to play any wrong notes anymore. This is really, really powerful. There are quite a few things with the Chord Assistant. I will do an in-depth video, but the last thing that I want to show you today is that you can actually say, show me just the pitches from Scale Assistant. See? Here on the agents, like we have in Groove Agent, you know? Exactly that. So I can go here and say, just show me only the pitches that I care about, only the relevant pitches, so you don't get distracted. Now, another thing when it comes to MIDI is the new ramps and curves for your CC controllers. That was a big request of mine, and I was so happy that it was included in this update. Let's say I want to create a ramp here instead, okay? Let me show you how you do this. You can go like this, and now, see that little point there? Boom! Yes! It's there! You know, it's ramps, we have curves, so you can just go as you want and do whatever you want, like you would edit automation. So I can go like this, I can click on this, and then change this to a curve. And it's super simple, super easy, super fluid. I don't need to say anything else. It's self-explanatory. I love it, and I know that this is going to change the way I program my synths now, and also my orchestral libraries, because with orchestral libraries, you need these curves, I mean, it was great before. I didn't mind this so much, but now, much cleaner, much better. Now, another thing that you can do now, which is really cool when it comes to MIDI editing, is the pitch bend, okay? And this is something that I also wanted badly for years now, and I'm so happy that it's there. Pitch bend events are the hardest to edit, and you can never know where you're going to land, how much you have to use your pitch up and down to get to the right pitch. Let's say I want to have an octave down here, or maybe like a 2 semitone, pitch bend. I can go here and activate snap pitch bend events. And when you do this, see, now I know exactly where I have to bend down to get -2 semitones, okay? Let's do just that now, okay? Like this. And let's go like this. And now, and then, of course, because I have the ramps as well, I can do all these things. Video coming up, but you can do so many cool things, especially for things like future bass and stuff like that. Maybe I can go up here. The next thing that I want to show you is something that's so useful for pretty much everyone, but more specifically composers and people that work a lot with video, different time signatures, arrangers, all these things. And that's when you want to be in the key editor and being able to see everything else that you care about, like your video, like your markers, like your chord track, your signature track, all these things. Now it's all possible. Before we get into this, let me show you how the new markers look like. See, I have a marker here. And as you can see, now the line extends all the way down. So even if I have a marker up here and I'm working down here, I can see where the marker is. Little things, but they make so much difference. Let me show you. Let's say I want to go to, let's say, my timpanis here, okay? And I'm working on this track. And that's really good, but now I've lost complete... Oh, hold on a second. Check what we have here. We have the global tracks, okay? I can turn them off. Global tracks, okay? I have my timpanis here, and maybe I want to accentuate some parts of my arrangement. Let's activate this. That makes me happy. Okay, so as you can see, we are inside the key editor, but I can see my chord track, I can see my cues, I can see my markers here, I can see my video, see? Everything, my time signatures, I can change the time signatures, let's say 6/8, all these things, they're all here, I can see my tempo changes, look at that. Look at that. And of course, if I want to focus only, let's say, on the tempo and my signature changes and not on the chord track, I can still select which ones I want to keep. Brilliant. Now, speaking of composers, the score editor also has some really cool things, You can actually go here now and say, I want to open my properties tab right here. So it's the right zone, and I can select anything that I want, and I can change the stems for specific notes. I can change the ties. I can change my clefs. I can go like this and say, okay, now instead I want to have like a octave up clef, treble clef key there. No problem, you can do all this, and even better, you can also activate the editing overlay. This is really cool because you know what you can do? I can change the MIDI duration, or I can change the display duration, okay? So that's only how it looks in the score. Or I can change the velocity straight from here, for any single note. And that's really powerful. I use a score editor a lot when I want to do like real scoring. I go to Dorico, if I want to do like really proper scoring there with notation. But sometimes the score editor inside Cubase is really convenient because it's right there and I don't have to open something else. Now, I kept the best for last. I know this is going to be a massive thing for quite a few people. How many times have you wanted to extract a vocal from a song or create an instrumental? Yet? Let me know in the comments down below. I have met no person in my life that has never wanted to do that. And some of them are not even musicians. So what if I told you that now with Cubase 11 you can do all of this inside Cubase without even lifting a finger? Like literally you just do it with one click almost without opening any other application? It's true. Let me show you. I have this, this is an old single of mine.
Open your eyes, take a look.
And let's say I want to create a remix, right? Let me show you how you do this. You select your audio, you go to audio, you go extensions, and then you select spectral layers. Spectral layers 1 is part of Cubase now. The way you do this is you go layer, unmix vocals. Click OK. And now spectral layers 1 is analyzing the audio and it will give me the separate vocals and the separate instrumental. So let's listen to it.
In summer dreams, all that we are is our summer dreams.
With the reverbs, with everything.
Away from
And just the instrumental.
summer breeze. Summer dreams, all that we are
The delays as well.
dreams. Flying away from summer breeze.
How cool is that? This is incredible if you want to do remixes or if you want to create instrumentals. And when you're done and you're happy with it, you just go here, drag and drop, and there we go. Vocals. And if I go back, I can also drop my instrumental there. Done. So, what can I say? I don't know. How many more features do you want? I didn't go through all of the new features, I have to tell you. Like I said, the video would be so long. But one thing that I want to say for Mac users out there is that I've tried Cubase 11 on the Mac and the performance is just unreal. Because now Cubase talks directly to your GPU. With the Metal engine and all these things, if you know about Macs, it's really, really good. So I'm telling you, you will be really pleased. So there you go, guys. This is the brand new Cubase 11. I didn't go through everything, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the new features. For me, it's a boom stamp of approval for sure. More videos about Cubase 11 coming up, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification icon. I'll see you in the next one, guys, and I hope you have loads of fun with Cubase 11. Take care.